Good morning. It's Christine Williams with the Cup of Glow from the Soulful Guild. Oh, my mornings seem to be taking longer and longer to be able to get to this part of my day, and really, it's the most important part. It's the thing that sets me up, and hopefully, I hope it's something that sets you up too. Anyway, today is August the 30th, 2018, and I decided to show you one of my very first decks that I ever fell in love with. Now, I always say this was one of my first decks, but truly, this is one of my very first decks. It's the Sacred Path cards, and they're the discovery of self through native teachings. I have always loved the native teachings. They make so much sense to me, and I just really and truly love them. And I was, I think the reason I decided to use this deck today is I was going through my storage unit yesterday. This is my goal over the last month, to go through, sift through my life, and clean it up, clear it out, make room for new. It's a big task. I mean, I could just sit and go through a box and disappear, because everything I have has meaning, and I think we can all relate with that. I think that's when we get things and we hold on to them, there's reasons. Sometimes there's people who just impulsively buy, but most of the things that I own really have an important meaning to me. Anyway, I've always loved the path of the natives, Native Americans, and I've loved to learn of their ways, and I don't know that there's that much separation between us, even though there's a huge separation. I feel very deeply about Mother Earth, and I feel very deeply about the aspects of life and honoring nature, and the Creator has given us this beautiful place to live, and with it, the answers to most all of our questions. And I think when I came across this deck, a book, and cards, they just were so full of beautiful information that I had to bring them into my life and integrate them in. Well, yesterday, as I was going through my storage unit and cleaning out a particular box, I came across a writing someone, either I had printed or someone had printed, of some information on crazy horse and black elk. Black elk was a native healer, medicine man in the group. Of course, crazy horse was a warrior. And these were some of, as they worked together with their nation and their tribes, they also received guidance and prophecy. And these were some writings that someone had gone through and found. And as I read through them, I thought, what beautiful stories, what beautiful information that they were passing down to their people, but not just to their people, but to everyone. They referred to all colors as many tribes with many colors dancing under the tree of life in a later day, a later time. And they talked about a broken sacred hoop, which they referred the sacred hoop, which they referred to often as the circle of life in their traditions. Now I could be wrong. I don't have all of the information, but as I understand, and that this sacred hoop has been broken over time through wars, injustices, famine, all sorts of things. But after a time that they saw that this sacred hoop was restored and brought back together, and that all tribes, all colors of men and women were dancing together under the tree of life and uh, restored the sacred hoop or the circle of life. What a beautiful story. I mean, I just sat there in my storage unit and cried, and I called and shared it with a few people, and it made me really want to go back to my Sacred Path deck, study the book again, read some their beliefs and teachings and the applications of those stories that they told, and see if they couldn't apply in my life and in your life today. So I pulled a card today from this deck. And so very interestingly, and not at all interestingly, but the storyteller card is the card that came up. And it's so beautiful. I don't know if, let me get close enough for you to see. It's backwards, of course. The word underneath is expansion, but um, all these cute little people are climbing over the top of a sleeping, maybe a sleeping story. We can make many interpretations of what this picture is, but let me read the application in the book. And these cards are available in many places. I know that Omnipresence has, you can see it's so worn. I mean, this is just really important to me, and I use it and have used it a lot. But you can find these cards in different bookstores, and Omnipresence in Orem carries them. But they, under each card there's the teaching, and then there's the application of the teaching. And so what I would like to do is just read to you the application, and you can go find these cards if they mean something to you and learn more. You can read the story part, but let me just read the application. And this is the card that we will refer to as the card for the day. The storyteller card speaks of expansion on all levels. You are now growing and encompassing many new ideas. My battery says it's getting low, and I want to make sure it's plugged in. Of course, we don't want that to go out. Anyway, you are now growing and encompassing many new ideas. If you have received this card, see which area of expansion needs more attention and feed your personal fire of creation. Create more and enjoy the expansion, and know that you've earned it. Note that the expansion will continue if you are willing to share how you achieved your success with others. Many lives are influenced by another story. In the good fortune of your present situation, you may be instrumental in encouraging others. In all cases, expansion occurs when people are allowed to grow at their own rate and with their own understanding. The wisdom of the storyteller is a part of the art of remembering. Note that you are now remembering your personal medicine and how to be your potential. Isn't that so beautiful? Um, and as I was going through my stuff, I read a story that was being passed along as the natives back in the 1800s were living their story and passing it on, and then again passing it on, and then again passing it on. And now to me, maybe I can pass that along. But this particular card is asking us to pay attention to what our story is. What are you creating? And what do you need to share as you create who you are? As you expand on all levels, share your success with others. How are you getting through it? How are you maintaining day to day? Are you calling upon your ancestors? Are you calling upon the stories of old to help you succeed today? Are you calling upon the spirits who have passed, who can assist and help us in creating our story today and expanding our story? What a beautiful card. What a beautiful thing to think about on many different levels, in many different ways, honoring the Native Americans who are telling us to honor ourselves and to expand and to share our stories and keep the stories going. Let's do that. So today, think about your story. Think about you and how you're expanding. And what can you do to propel your story, to make it a big story, a good story, and one worth telling? And not being afraid to share the mishaps or the things that made you get back up, the things that made you strong, the things that made you weak. Tell your story. Help someone else to grow and learn from your experience. And then you also expand on all levels and grow from your own experience. Create your story. That's what it's about. Life is your story. Your book of life is what you're writing right now. So good luck with it, and then share it. Don't be afraid to share it with others. That's what that's what we look forward to. That's why we're here today. We are the accumulation of many generations of stories. So as you take those accumulations, grab them, study them, learn from them, and then decide what your story is going to be and create it. So, good luck with your story today. I hope you enjoyed uh, my deck, my Sacred Path deck. I hope you'll go get one maybe, learn a little bit. Our natives, brothers and sisters, have so much wisdom to teach us, as do all ethnic groups and all people. We all have stories to tell. We all have things that we can learn from each other. So let's do that. Let's share and grow from each other. Have a beautiful day. Cup of glow, even though it's almost noon.